Hi, Darren Lindley here, and thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm very excited about the message that I'm going to share with you. This is a message that I've preached so many times, and many of you, I'm sure, have heard it. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to get it documented because, who knows? I might die next week, and I think it'd be great to have this message recorded somewhere. So, anyway, this is a message that I think is so fundamental to the whole concept of Christianity, and it is this. What does faith feel like? And I believe that it's one of those questions that you got to get answered, because how do you know when you're doing it? How do you know when you're believing in Jesus? In John 6:29, Jesus says, the work of God is to believe in the one he has sent. How do you know when you're doing that? So what does faith actually feel like? And so I want to talk to you about that. And I think you're going to be very encouraged by this message. It's got a lot of drama in it. And we're going to be going over several days here as we share this message. We're going to cut it up. But it enables me to develop a little bit more of a complex thought. So faith is the essential ingredient of Christianity. Faith is what Christianity is all about. As I said, Jesus says the work of God is to believe. Now, the word believe is the verb form of the noun faith. Faith is the thing. Believing is the action in which you are expressing the thing called faith. So we do this verb, we believe, we trust. And that's another synonym for believing. And so what we do is we trust in Jesus. We believe in him all the time. It's what we do as Christians. And so Paul says this, I preach a righteousness that is by faith from first to last. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it's impossible to please him. Well, an interesting point about faith is that there's only 2 times in the whole New Testament where Jesus said about somebody, you have great faith. Interestingly enough, it wasn't any of the disciples he was describing when he said that. It was actually a Canaanite woman and a centurion. And both of these 2 people, Jesus said about them, Gentiles, neither one of them Jews, he said, you have great faith. So I think you're going to love this as we get into the scripture and we see this drama come out of this precious woman who's really having a rough day. So it says this in Luke chapter 15, verse 21, it says, leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. Now, he'd just been doing a bunch of preaching and ministry, and I'm sure he is toast, and he's exhausted. It's interesting how exhausting preaching actually is. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's hardly aerobic, it's certainly not that, but it's so weird when you preach how wiped out you tend to be when you're done. I think Jesus needed a break, and he's going to the region of Tyre and Sidon. He's going to kick back a little bit. But then it says this, a Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession. And then the scripture says something quite remarkable. Jesus did not answer her a word. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think he took that course about winning friends and influencing people, because that doesn't seem like the best social skill in the world. Jesus did not answer a word. So then his disciples kind of pick up on that. And they came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. And he answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. And she says, yes, it is, Lord. She said, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. And Jesus said to her, woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed at that very moment. This is such an incredible scripture. And I got to tell you, it produces a gut-level response in me pretty much every time I read it, especially when I hear Jesus say these words, it's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. Jesus has got a reputation as being like a super nice guy. And yet, here he says to this poor woman whose daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession, it's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. I don't know about you, but I think that is like, whoa, what a weird moment. So let's go look at this passage, and I think we're going to see some stuff in here that's going to blow your mind. So make sure you tune back in over the next couple of days, because we're going to get into some very cool stuff that could possibly change your whole view of how you practice Christianity, what it really means. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today, and I'm praying that this message is an encouragement to you. This is a 4-part message, and I broke it up into smaller segments so that it's easier for you to view, and hopefully you like that. Let me know. I'd love to get your feedback on this thing. We want to be producing something that's an encouragement and a blessing and that's useful to you. And if you happen to be liking what you're seeing, would you mind hitting that like button? And if you want to get more notifications of this stuff, hit subscribe, and then also hit the bell, and that'll send you a little notice whenever there's a new video from me. And on the other thing is, if this is touching your heart, go back to your Facebook page and share it on your Facebook page, because I believe that if it's touching you, it's probably going to touch somebody else. So hey, thanks so much for coming and visiting today, and I'm praying that this is an encouragement to you. We will see you tomorrow.